You've probably heard of Klaviyo before. It's the leading email marketing app for medium businesses on Shopify and Shopify Plus. Our clients range from fast-growing direct-to-consumer brands on Shopify all the way up to large retail stores with over 100 locations using Shopify Plus. Klaviyo enables you to do so much, it can be hard to know where to start. In this comprehensive guide, we'll start with no account at all, and by the end of it, we'll have an account set up, connected to your Shopify store, collecting subscribers to grow your list, sending your most important flows, and a master template to send your newsletter campaigns. Let's jump right into it. Email marketing is sending emails to customers with useful information and, most importantly, product and sales launch emails. But email marketing can be so much more through automation and segmentation, especially for e-commerce brands. With automation, you can engage customers through the purchase journey with a welcome series, abandoned cart and abandoned browse emails, and increase lifetime value with your customers by encouraging return purchases with personalized win-back emails. When we say segmentation, what we mean is finding groups of your customers with common traits and interests. Sending personalized emails to customers based on their demographic and product interests will help you grab customers' attention and stand out in their inbox. How important is it for e-commerce businesses? Very important. The typical e-commerce brand is able to generate at least 20% of their total revenue from email marketing. It helps nurture website visitors to become purchasers, engage past customers to repurchase again. At Email Experts, our most successful clients are even able to generate 40% or more of their revenue from email marketing. This guide will show you the foundational components that will get you well on your way to generating 20% or more too. It won't happen right away since you need to grow your list of engaged subscribers over time, but this guide will put that in place as well. With Klaviyo's pop-ups, sign-up forms, and e-commerce integrations, these list growth tools are the core drivers for attracting your highest quality subscribers in a legal way and will make sure that your emails don't go to the spam folder. So a bit about Klaviyo. Klaviyo is the leading email marketing platform for Shopify and Shopify Plus stores. That's also great for any e-commerce business on other platforms too, including BigCommerce, WooCommerce, Netto, Salesforce, e-commerce cloud, and even custom platforms. It syncs real time with your e-commerce data and integrates your customer database, your orders, your product catalog. You'll find that Klaviyo is a central tool in your marketing team. Firstly, to reach your customers through email and SMS, but also to understand your customer segments and automate the key email and text messages through the customer journey. By following this guide, you will set up a complete Klaviyo account from end to end. By the end of this video, you should have your account set up, your website collecting subscribers, the core most important flows, and you'll be ready to send your first campaign. So let's set up your account. So in one tab, I'm logged into my Shopify. This video doesn't cover that. I'm logged into my Shopify and I'm on the Klaviyo homepage as well. I'll be starting by creating a new Klaviyo account and connecting it to an e-commerce store. In this example, we'll be using Shopify. The process is very similar for WooCommerce and BigCommerce as well. Head to the Klaviyo homepage and click sign up in the top right. Fill out your company details, including email, website, and mobile number. Once this is completed, you can select your e-commerce platform from the menu. I'm going to be going with Shopify. So go to your Shopify homepage and copy the My Shopify version of the URL. Paste this into Klaviyo. Clicking through will redirect you to the Shopify backend, where you will install the Shopify app for Klaviyo. Hit Install App in the top right. Continue through to Account Setup Wizard. Klaviyo can manage email and SMS, but SMS at the moment is only supported in Australia, Canada, United States, and United Kingdom. So I will cover the SMS basics as well in this video, but you can skip SMS if it's not supported in your region. I need to add my sender information. This is the name and email address that your emails will be from when customers receive your emails in their inbox. In this case, I'll use Eastern Apparel and info@easterneagle.com. I recommend setting this up as an inbox that you attend. That way, if customers reply, you can receive those replies. Continuing with the setup, it will ask you your goal and if you want to use Klaviyo for email only or email and SMS. As I said, we'll do both, but you can just go with email if you want. Now that my account is set up, I just need to confirm my email address and re-log in. If you already have a Klaviyo account and it's not connected to your e-commerce store, you can connect it through integration settings. Click on your name in the bottom left, select integrations, search Shopify, or if you're using BigCommerce or WooCommerce or another platform, search for that instead. Now that we've got our account set up, if you want to set up SMS, you click on your name down the bottom left, click on settings. Under settings, click SMS. Click Activate SMS. and then it will start to verify your US and Canada phone number. You'll need to choose an alphanumeric, which is the name that the text messages will be from when they land in the customer's text message inbox. So usually it comes from a phone number. In this case, it's going to be coming from a 11-character alphanumeric. In our case, Eastern Eagle is too long, so we'll cut it back, and that's that. And that's it. Now we've got SMS activated, and we'll connect it with Shopify later on. Okay, so that's it. Our account's set up. Now we need to set up lists and segments. The Klaviyo account has now been created and is connected to your e-commerce store backend. I want to finish the connection to our Shopify backend, but first we need to set up some lists and segments. From the Klaviyo homepage, under Audience, click Lists and Segments. You'll see Klaviyo has made some pre-made lists and segments. Lists are a place to put subscribers. Customers join a list by signing up to emails or SMS. This could be through your website, pop-ups, the checkout, or other sources like competition forms. We like having these 4 lists: website signups, checkout signups, newsletter, and if you're using SMS subscribers. A list for each way for customers to sign up to receive emails and text messages. Website signups for sign-up forms. This will trigger the welcome series that has the sign-up offer, and we're going to be referring to that list throughout this video. Checkout signups. This will collect subscribers who've subscribed through the checkout, which will also connect shortly. SMS subscribers to collect SMS subscribers if you're doing that, and newsletter for importing other subscribers. This is like a catch-all list that's going to get all the other subscribers. Even if you don't have other subscribers right now, I do recommend adding this list right from the start. As you'll see shortly, it will save you time from having to create a new list in the future. Okay, so let's create a new list. We'll call that website signups. So now we have an empty list. Go to settings. I prefer to set up lists with single opt-in, which is where customers just sign up and they just start receiving your emails right away. Whereas double opt-in is where customers sign up and then they get the confirmation email. I can talk about that in a second. So we'll turn it to single opt-in, click single opt-in, save the settings. Now back in lists and segments, go to the pre-made list called preview list. Now we're going to change its name to, so click on settings, change its name to checkout signups, and change the setting to single opt-in as well. And then click on the pre-made newsletter list. That name is fine. We'll click on settings, change it to single opt-in as well. And finally, let's make our SMS list. It's exactly the same process. Create a new list, give it a name, and change it to single opt-in. So a couple of things about lists. Double opt-in, as I mentioned, is where customers get a confirmation message to confirm that they would like to join the list. It's important to make sure that you have permission to email customers. And if you find you're having issues with spam, then it might be a good idea to switch on double opt-in. The reason we don't usually do it with other clients is that it slows down the sign-up process for customers. It's a little bit clunky, and we prefer that the first email customers get is the welcome email rather than the opt-in double confirmation email. It's up to you, but we usually go with single opt-in. Customers only need to sign up and they're on the list, no confirmation. The second thing about lists is that subscribers can and will exist in more than one list. This is really important if you're moving over from another platform. For example, a subscriber will subscribe to the website sign-up list when they subscribe through the pop-up, and then they'll go through the checkout and they might give permission there as well, joining the checkout sign-up list. And at any stage, they might also consent to receive SMS, at which stage they'll join that list as well. Klaviyo is great at handling this. They're going to have one unified profile. They're not going to be, existing in multiple profiles. It will combine all of these signups into a single unified profile for that customer, and the customer will be in all applicable lists. The good thing from your perspective as a marketer is that subscribers will have many opportunities to sign up, and they only need to sign up once to be assured of getting your emails. Some customers will sign up through the pop-up and others through the checkout, and they'll all get your newsletters and flows all the same. Note that if you're importing from another email service provider, you also need to upload any historical unsubscribes or opt-outs in order to avoid accidentally sending emails to those profiles. If you migrated your account through Klaviyo's built-in integration settings, like for example, where Klaviyo integrates directly with MailChimp, this step might have already been completed for you. If you're unsure, check out the help doc, how to migrate email subscribers, which is linked in the description below. You want to set up your lists before you start setting up your sign-up forms or welcome emails. As you'll discover later in the video, your welcome series needs to trigger from a list, so it helps to have them set up already. Let's talk about segments. Segments are a way for you to look deep at your subscribers' attributes and better understand and target them. In some platforms, segments are a subset of subscribers from just one list. In contrast, Klaviyo pulls from all your subscribers across your whole account, all lists. You can set up rules for how to segment your audience. Examples of segment rules include something subscribers have done, such as buying, browsing, subscribing, opening emails, purchases they've made, or other activities, including custom activities. Something they are or somewhere they are. So these are profile attributes about the subscriber. So these can include, the country or state that they're in, their predicted name, gender, or even their birthday. Something Klaviyo predicts. So Klaviyo has predictive analytics. For small stores, it's just predicting their gender based on their first name. So it compares their first name to recent US census data and predicts their gender there. If you have a larger store, Klaviyo will also predict churn rate likelihood and likely next purchase date, and even their likely future spend. And you can also make a segment based on the list that they're on. So you can make a segment of lists, but it's not required. There is one segment that's vital to the setup. It's your full campaign audience, your sort of core audience segment. So I recommend setting this up as soon as you set up your account or after you've created your lists. So click on Create List Segment, this time choose Segment. Name it Email Audience, since it's your audience that you'll send your main emails to. Now for the rules. They have to be is in list. If you followed our guidance above, choose website signups, then click or, is in the list checkout signups, or is in the list newsletter. Add any other lists that would mean that they have consented to email marketing, and is not suppressed. The is not suppressed rule isn't, completely necessary. Klaviyo will never let you send to subscribers who have unsubscribed or are suppressed, but it's handy to have that rule there just so that the numbers are accurate when you generate the segment and it tells you your top level numbers. Now then we want to add some engagement rules. These are the rules to make sure you're only going to email customers who have engaged fairly recently. If you're a small brand, then you might not need to add these rules right away, but I would recommend adding them as soon as your list exceeds 5,000 subscribers. So, at the bottom of the rules, click and, is created in the last 180 days, or, note that you must use or, and we'll make it so that your segment is too small, or has clicked an email at least once in the last 180 days, or has opened an email in the last 180 days where Apple privacy open equals false, or has subscribed to a list at least once in the last 180 days. Apple privacy open equals false is this complicated thing that basically with iOS 15, Apple started, making it look like emails were opened when they're not, and you don't want to accidentally leave those customers on there when they're not really opening for real. Segments are automatically updated every 30 to 45 minutes and updated every time a campaign is sent. So don't stress if subscribers aren't added to your segment in real time if you're testing it. If you set up the rules correctly, then subscribers will automatically fit into this segment whenever they are added to one of the lists. If you do want to double check that it's actually working, you can click update definition, click update the rules. You don't need to update the rules, but it will automatically regenerate the segment so that you can check to see whether your test email address is in that segment, for example. So keep segments in mind later in the video. When creating our email campaigns and basic email flows, we'll return to create new segments. So integrating with Shopify stores. Now I'll show you how to integrate Klaviyo fully with your Shopify store. So check out signups. We will start by adding the option for customers to sign up for email and SMS at the checkout. Go to Shopify integration settings within Klaviyo. Under integrations, enabled integrations, Shopify. So this is the one that we set up right from the start. Under the subscribers section, Check the Collect Email Subscribers box. A drop-down menu will appear in which you can add a list to add your subscribers to. Select the checkout signups list we created earlier. I'm going to be adding SMS as well. So under SMS, I'm going to collect SMS subscribers checkbox and choose the SMS subscribers list. Subscribers will be added to the checkout signups list if they check the email me with news and offers box at the store's checkout, and likewise for the SMS checkbox at the checkout, which we'll enable shortly. Click Update the settings in the bottom corner and click Update Integration. If you're collecting SMS subscribers, you'll need to do an extra step in Shopify. Within Shopify, click on Settings. Under Settings, go to Checkout and Account Settings, scroll down and check the SMS Marketing checkbox. This adds a checkbox at the checkout which allows customers to sign up to SMS. So that's it for the checkout integration. Now when subscribers subscribe through the checkout, they're going to be added to a list, and we'll test that shortly. Now we'll set up the sign up forms on the website. Okay, first I just want to touch on some basic strategies for sign up forms, and then I'll go step by step through building that in Klaviyo. So there's 3 types of sign up forms that you can use on your website and create within Klaviyo: pop-ups, flyouts, and embed forms. Pop-ups appear when a customer is browsing the website after a certain amount of time. They appear in the middle of the screen and make it so the customer must interact with them or dismiss them before browsing the website. Pop-ups are tricky for a customer to dismiss and have a high conversion rate, but they are the most disruptive for a customer when they're browsing the website. Flyouts are similar to pop-ups, but they're a little less intrusive. They slide in from the side, appearing at the side of the page and not distracting the customer from the browsing as much. They're still noticeable to customers, but have a lower conversion rate than pop-ups. A quick note here about pop-ups and flyouts. They're pretty much the same on mobile, right? Like if you've got a flyout coming in on mobile, it's going to take up a lot of the screen. So always remember that most of your customers are on mobile, even though as marketers we often spend our time optimizing the website on desktop. Just keep that in mind. And then we've got embedded forms. They're the forms that are just within the website. They're placed within a section of your e-commerce website, generally within the footer. Embed forms are helpful for customers who come to your site intending to subscribe for an offer or make it through your page without triggering a pop-up. Using these alongside other sign-up forms like pop-ups or flyouts is a good idea. So when creating your sign-up forms, make sure you have an offer to give your customers to make them want to sign up. We suggest using a discount code for the customer's first purchase, as it incentivizes them to stay on your store page, and by sending a code to them via email. It trains your customers to open emails sent by your brand. We'll start by creating a pop-up and then an embed form. These will connect to the website sign-up list to trigger the welcome flow. From the Klaviyo homepage, under Content, click on Sign-up Forms from the list on the left. Klaviyo has a gallery of basic template form designs. They're starting points and highly customizable. From these, I'll select the basic form design for a pop-up. Choose a name for the form that describes the pop-up and select the website sign-ups list, then create form. So now we'll use the Klaviyo designer to make the pop-up match the rest of your branding. Try to keep the form simple. The idea is to make the form easy to read so customers will be more incentivized to fill out the pop-up rather than just close it. You should have only 2 pages on your pop-up. Page 1 should detail the offer and have a place to input their email. And page 2 should have a confirmation message and a notice for them to go check their email for the discount code. If you want to collect SMS subscribers, add a second page to collect their phone number as well. So now that you've filled out the text and designed to match your branding, you want to change the behavior and targeting. Click on Behavior and Targeting menu on the left. You can see the options to target audiences, which devices to show the form on, and how the form will behave. We suggest having a loading delay for the pop-up. We recommend showing it when someone goes to exit, which is only going to work on desktop, obviously, 5 seconds after page load, and after scrolling 30% of the page. We also recommend that you don't show again after form submit, and show again after 3 days of closing. So if someone closes it, they're not going to see it for another 3 days. Show on mobile and desktop, and under targeting, check don't show to existing Klaviyo profiles. This makes sure you do not send existing customers offers. Also exclude any pages you do not wish the pop-up to appear on, mainly cart pages and checkout pages. Once the pop-up is complete, click on draft and change it to live. Once this is done, test your pop-up by going through the sign-up process. So now for the embed form. Within Klaviyo, in the left column, select sign-up forms. Once again, Klaviyo has a variety of pre-made templates. Set a basic template to customize. Here's where I choose which list email subscribers will be added to, and I'll select website signups again. Click create form. Like the pop-up form, you want to create the embed form to be simple and easy for customers to understand. Keep the text simple and the offer clear. Once the design is done, click Save and we'll now add it to your website. First, publish the form with the Publish button in the top right corner. This will give you a code in a little pop-up, but you don't need it at all. You just need to copy the 6-digit code, which is also in the URL when editing the form. Click Publish again. Now within Shopify. Within Shopify, go to the Online Store menu, click Theme. In Theme Settings, click Customize button. This will bring up the editor. At the top of the screen, you can control which page you want to add the form to. In our case, we want to add it to the home page. On the left panel at the bottom, click Add Section. Scroll down to Apps. You can see the Klaviyo embed form. Here you need to add the form ID. This is the 6-digit code, and that's it. The form will now show on the website. Click Save and it's live on the site. All right, that's it. Now the forms are complete. We've got our website tracking through the pop-ups and the forms, and we're collecting some subscribers as well. So let's just test it. On the site, we'll use the pop-up. We'll sign up there. I'll add a placeholder email address. Then return to Klaviyo, click on Profile in the left menu. You should see it has a profile now, and I'm on all the correct lists. Now we'll test the web tracking. So I'll view a product page. Back in Klaviyo, I refresh the page and can see the browse behavior coming through too. And you can see just how quickly the data feeds into Klaviyo. And finally, let's start a checkout. I'll add to cart, start checkout. I'll just fill in my details, check to receive emails, and progress through the checkout. Once again, we can refresh the page and see all of this checkout behavior coming through to Klaviyo. And again, it's pretty much instant. So that's it for the connection between Shopify and Klaviyo. From this point, we'll be all within Klaviyo, sending emails through flows and campaigns and setting up your Klaviyo account so that your marketing team can be confident and become comfortable sending newsletter campaigns and automated flows. So now we've connected Klaviyo to the Shopify account. All new subscribers are now feeding into Klaviyo. All website browsing behavior is tracked, and all Shopify purchases and tracking behavior is also being tracked in Klaviyo too. So email templates. Now we need to set up our initial flows, and I'll show you how to set up campaigns. But before we do that, we need a basic master template. And we're going to be using the new Klaviyo editor. At the moment, there's the old editor and the new one. I recommend that you use the new editor. It will allow you to be more future-proof, but it does require a little bit more complexity setting it up to start with. So the first thing you do is under Content, go to Templates, and then in Templates, create a template. Click Use New Editor and create a template. It's not going to be too much of a hindrance if you're using the old editor, but one day in the next year or so, Klaviyo will eventually retire that old editor. This is the editor. The editor looks exactly the same whether you're making a template here, using the editor to build a campaign, or using it to set up flows, as you'll see. When we open up the new editor, there are different elements and there are sections. In this case, this section has a background image. And then within the section, we've got a text and button block. We also have another section here, which has a lot of initial placeholder content. I'm going to delete this initial block because we want to make a master template that will be our starting point when we're making all of our flows and campaigns. We want to sort of set up our branded default. In the Klaviyo editor, you've got your content, you've got the different content types, and each of these have different settings. So for a text block, for example, when I click on the main text section, it brings up the text block. It's got all the padding and spacing and everything I can have around the text area, and then the text area where I can write the copy. So the first thing we want to do is set up the default styles across the whole template. So here I'm going to go to the Styles tab, and I want to set my defaults for my text, my headings, and my copy text. So I've got my heading here. It's pulled in some custom fonts from my website. I'm going to go with Poppins Normal. That'll be my normal text. On my headings, it's going to be Poppins Semi-Bold. And then I want to adjust the size here for mobile as well. So this just allows me to adjust the size for mobile of these headings. For example, my heading 2 here, I want it to be a little bit smaller on mobile. And my normal text, I might drop that down a size or 2 as well. Okay, I'm pretty happy with that now. I want to mimic the style of the navigation menu from my website. So I'm going to scroll down to layouts, click on sections because I want my heading section to be its own section that can be saved on its own. I'll click done and I'm going to choose header link bar and drop that into that spot. Okay. So now it's asking for my logo. I go back to my folder and drop in my logo. And link it to the URL for my website. I'm going to choose the width. I'm going to make it 120 pixels here. And again, matching my website, I want it to be left aligned. I'm going to select inline, but we've got a few different options here. I'll update the mobile settings as well. So now let's add links. To match our website, I want new, collection, and about us. So we'll add the text here and each section for that corresponding page on the website. You'll see it's invisible at the moment, and that's because the text settings aren't right. Fixing the color and style, it's all right now, okay. Looking good so far. In my case, I want the spacing of the header to be manual. I want it to be left aligned, a little bit more spacing. I'll click on mobile and I can see here that it's not quite wrapping the way I want it to. What I'm going to do is I'm going to make my collections link only show on desktop. So this text looks better on mobile. Although on mobile, I might see if I can adjust my spacing a little bit. Okay, cool. All right, I also want to have a hero section for every email. So I'm going to put that within my normal section. I'll grab my normal default hero image. And then I'm going to delete those other default sections. This is going to be the default of every email. So I just want to have some pre-approved branding. Every email will have different content, obviously. I want to match the button style of the website, get rid of the all caps here and paste in the URL. Border radius is the roundedness of the button. So in my case, I want to have no roundedness at all. And my buttons are also a bit wider. So I'll set the width to 45. and the font to Poppins normal, and that's good. Now we're sticking with the master template, and so I want to make sure that I've got the options that I need. With my branding, I also have another button style, which is a white button too. Okay, now I also want to have another section for featured collections. So we'll have a hero image, which I can bring in from the folder. I want to have some padding as well. Now we could add columns, but I'm going to have a product grid. I'm going to choose my products, which is where it's pulled in directly from Shopify, which is fantastic. And again, what we're doing here is not necessarily designing an email that customers will receive, but we're building the default setup for this. We'll get into emails for customers a little bit later. So we need to make our button link and have styles that match the website. I want to go for the white button style. And the images are too small, so we'll enlarge those. That's great. All right, so here you can see the products are stacking on mobile, and I don't want them to. That's how I want it to look, but then we've got an issue with the buttons. So the buttons are squishing on mobile. There's no option here to show buttons only on desktop and not on mobile. So what I'm going to have to do in this case is duplicate the block and have one version for mobile and one version for desktop. So I'll duplicate it. The desktop one will have the buttons and the mobile without. So I'll make the different version that has no buttons. Okay, now to make it show only on mobile, click display options and make this only show on mobile. And then on the other one, do the same but only on desktop. So now customers who view this on desktop will see one version with the buttons, and customers who see it on mobile will see it without. Okay, finally we'll update our social links. As we can see on our website, our links are black, so we actually update them to black and update the links. And this Klaviyo icon here at the bottom, that'll be removed in the settings once you get a paid Klaviyo account. Now this is the template that we'll use for campaigns, but it's also what we use for flows. So before we continue any further, what I want to do is save our sections. We'll save the header. I want to save it as a hero section. I want to save this as a featured collection. And I want to save this as our footer. I need to touch on universal blocks. When you're in the new editor, especially if you're familiar with the old editor, universal blocks are a different concept. When you're in the new editor, now you can go to universal, and now you'll see that these sections are all saved here as universal block sections. So then every time that we make an email from this template, you can drag it in and you can see that all the content is there in the section. The thing is, when you click on it, you'll need to choose whether it's in linked mode or unlinked mode. When you're dealing with the header and the footer, you should leave them as linked mode because you want them the same across every email that has the header and footer. But keep in mind that it means that if you change the footer, it's going to change across every email that uses that footer. But when you're dealing with the featured collection, when we put this into an email, you want to have it unlinked and edit independently because you want to change which products are featured in every instance of that particular section. Okay, so now that we've saved our blocks and our sections, we can even delete a block here because it's in our saved featured section, and we can even save our button styles as well. Again, under Universal, you'll see that they're all here. And if we refresh, you'll start to see that it's bringing in a screenshot of those different types. Takes a little time to populate, but now you can see it's all in there as a gallery. So now we have our master template. It's time to start using it. Let's build our first flow. Welcome series. Okay, so now we're ready to build our first flow. Under flows, we want to make our welcome series. And if you remember, our welcome series needs to trigger off of our website sign-up forms. So we need to click on welcome series, click get started. We need to choose our list. In this case, we're going to go with website signups. We want to use this for everybody who has signed up on the website, pop-up or form. So we've got our trigger when someone signs up, and we have our emails below that. Welcome series 1, welcome series 2, welcome series 3. Now I actually recommend sticking with those dates and sticking with this timing. And what we want to do is we want to have welcome 1 will deliver the offer. Welcome 2 will be an about us email. And welcome 3 will be an offer reminder. That's our goal for the emails. Now, some housekeeping before we get going. We want our welcome emails to trigger when someone signs up, but we want to stop sending the reminder emails as soon as they make a purchase. And so what we need to do is we need to go to flow filters, click add a flow filter, and we want to click a filter here, which is something they have or have not done. They have placed an order 0 times since starting this flow. And so what this does is every time an email goes to send in this flow, it will check that flow filter. So the first time they sign up, obviously this email will deliver it immediately, and so the welcome email will send. But if they then use the offer, once they get to email 2, it will check this filter. And if they've placed an order, then they'll fail the filter and they won't receive email 2, which is exactly what we want, because the goal of the welcome series is to encourage customers to make their first purchase. So once they've made their first purchase, there's no need for them to continue on. And for some other housekeeping, I definitely recommend that you understand what smart sending is. And I recommend that you turn smart sending off for the welcome emails, and you definitely want to turn on UTM tracking. In fact, you can set up UTM tracking across your whole account so that it is on by default. Okay, so now we can start building the emails themselves. Starting with welcome email 1. This email is the one that's going to be really focused on delivering that first offer once someone fills in the pop-up or the form. So click on the message, click on edit, add the subject line and preview text here. Then click on edit email, change the template. So we're going to go with drag and drop. There's a few default themed ones here, but they're all still using the old editor. So you want to click on My Templates and find the master template. That's going to open up our master template with all of the placeholder content. And this is where you're going to add the content. Now, rather than pasting, like if you've got content from another source, I recommend actually just typing it in here. Unless you're going to like paste and match styles, which is on Mac it's Command-Shift-V. I think on Windows it's Control-Shift-V, and that pastes without styles. But otherwise, I recommend typing it directly in because you've got to be careful not to bring in formatting from other like sources from where you're importing from. If you were to import text from another source, then it might bring in the formatting from that source and it will screw it up, especially on mobile. So that's the message that you want to send, and then we want to have the code here as well. So I'll put another text box there and I'll get into how to add that code shortly. Great. And we can even change the image if you want to. You can add the alt text. And I recommend that you always add a URL to every image. The reason is that, like on Gmail, if you don't have a URL on there and a customer clicks on that image, and you never know where the customer is going to click, if the customer clicks on that image, then it will download the image instead. So it's better to have everything linking through to the website, so no matter where the customer clicks, it's going to take them through to the website. Might just add a horizontal rule here as well. So I'll try to keep it focused exactly on the one message that we're trying to deliver. And as I said, we'll get the discount codes shortly. Okay, so welcome to, we want to be about us, or you want to talk about the brand, the product story, or the origins of the product, or potentially addressing frequently asked questions. In this case, we're going to be talking about one of our points of difference, which is the story of the brand and meeting one-on-one session with the in-house specialist. So let's fill in the subject line in the preview text, change the template again, same as email 1. Now I'm going to do something special. I'm going to add a section. I'm going to add a background image on the whole section. Now you can see he is behind that block, and I'm going to put a text element over this. Then I'm going to fix the color, branding, and a ton of spacing. Next, I'll remove this old version of the image and make sure it looks good on mobile as well. And so now if we preview, we can see we've actually got real live text on top of an image. Okay, in this case, I'm going to bring the copy in from somewhere else. I'm going to click Command-Shift-V. I'm sure it's something else on Windows, so that you can paste without styling, and then to make sure that it's not bringing in any other sneaky extra styling. Finally, I'm just going to add another horizontal rule. It looks good and we can save the email. Now I'm going to speed through the third email, but this one is just an offer reminder. And we have our first discount code, our book to call, and our discount reminder. It might seem repetitive, but remember that customers will be receiving them days apart. And so from the customer's perspective, they're all going to be fresh content. They're going to be receiving emails from other brands as well at the same time. So from their perspective, it's all going to be, okay, and it's okay to sort of reiterate the message. So now what we need to do is we need to generate coupon codes that are going to go into these emails to replace that placeholder. So the first thing we need to do is go back into Klaviyo and we need to go to coupons. It's klaviyo.com/coupons. And because it's integrated with Shopify, we can just create a Shopify coupon directly within Klaviyo. And there'll be unique coupons for customers. So this would be our Welcome 10 offer, and we can have that as a prefix here if we want. I recommend that you do, just because it makes it easier to track them in the back end of Shopify. You know all of the coupons that are being redeemed that start with that. In this case, I want it to be a percentage off. But then when we're setting up the coupon codes, we can choose a fixed amount off, free shipping, and then you can check different rules. In our case, we want 10% off a minimum purchase of $100, and we don't have specific products that we want it to be available on, but it is available if you want that in case. So for example, if you didn't want to include gift cards, then you can set up a collection which doesn't include gift cards, and that can be the rule for that coupon. All right, and we want them to expire a certain number of days. If we go back to our flow, the customer will receive email 1 and they'll get a reminder 7 days later. So we need to give them a good amount of time, so maybe 10 days from when the first coupon is sent. So now we have our coupon name and we have our definition. Now, here's how we use the code in the email. So let's open up the email and edit the content. So it's obviously going to be where we have our X's here. And the way we do it is we get a piece of code, which is in the description below, and we need to insert the reference for the Welcome 10 discount code. So here's the coupon code here. So we need to copy this code and replace the name of coupon with Welcome 10. So I've copied the code and I want to paste it in here again. Paste without style, so again Command-Shift-V, and it's going to have our coupon code here, and we need them to copy this name. And so we're going to put in Welcome 10 there. From the customer's perspective, what they'll see is a code that starts with WEL, and then they'll have 8 characters afterwards. So when we go into preview, it's going to show if it's worked. If it's going to say Welcome 10-preview. If you've mistyped it or made a typo, it will actually show an error. So you can be sure that you've got the right coupon by seeing that Welcome 10 preview. So that's how you know that you've done the coupon code correctly, and if it's come up with a preview, it means it's done right. Okay, so what the customers will see is that they'll see a code that starts with WEL and then has 8 random characters after. So there we go, we have the code for the welcome offer, and we can save that and go to welcome offer number 3 as well. And then we can go to preview and we know that it's all right on welcome 3. Great, so that's the welcome series. Now that it's in place, we're actually ready to turn it live. So here we can click, we can turn this to live. In this menu, draft means that the customers won't receive this email at all. Manual will mean that customers will queue up, but they won't be sent the emails, and you'll have to manually send them out when they queue up. And live just means they'll receive it when they're eligible to receive it. Now you can do them individually, or you can update the statuses of all the flows in all the emails in the flow in one go. So let's test this whole process now to see what would happen if someone signs up on the website. Okay, so you've signed up on the pop-up. Now we've received the first email, which is great. And we can see here that the discount code, which is a unique first-time discount code. Let's demonstrate that it actually works. As you can see, it's actually applied a 10% discount to the checkout. So that's our welcome series working correctly. That's how we set that up. Let's jump into the abandoned cart. Now, the abandoned cart series is much more complicated than the welcome series because of the contents, the way it's built. Customers need to see the products that they've abandoned. So there's a bit of code needed to make this work. Don't worry, we'll just be copying and pasting the code we need to allow the customers to shop the contents of their cart. Okay, so to do this, we need to create a flow, which is a standard abandoned cart reminder, and we'll just keep it at that. So when you go into it, it's going to have some default settings here. The flow filters, they're all good. The way that abandoned cart works is that it triggers when someone starts the checkout, and it stops sending when someone places an order. That second filter makes sure that the abandoned cart email only goes out one at a time. So if someone stops a checkout and then they start another checkout, they're only going to receive one abandoned cart series at a time, and it will be the last one. The tricky thing here is that the contents of the email, which is programmed to show the customer's cart. When we look at the contents of this email and you go to edit contents, As you can see here, it's using the old editor, and you can see it's got a table that actually populates the content of the cart. When we looked at products and I click on preview, and it actually pulls in the contents of the cart. So what we need to do is we need to bring this table from the old editor into the new one. This is the trickiest part. So we'll be going back and forth between this one and the new editor. Don't worry, you don't need to program anything. Like I said, you'll just be copying and pasting, but watch closely so that you can make sure that you're adding the code to the right parts of the table. So the best way to do this is on the abandoned cart reminder, click clone. And so now you've got two versions of the same email here. And so click edit, but edit in a new tab. And then on the other one, also bring that up so that you're editing both of them side by side. So we've got them both in two tabs here. So now we have a cart over here and we have a cart over here. So we want to clone this email, and so it will start looking exactly the same. So we want to edit this second one. And once we've finished building that second one, we're going to delete the original one, but we need that original one to start with so that we can take the code from it. So we want to open up our second one. We've got our first one in the first tab. We want to change template, and again, as before, we want to use the main template. Now, design-wise, I want to delete that and fix the styling and copy. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to be copying the content of this cart from the old design into the new design, and here's the way you do it. Under content, scroll down to table, drag the table into the design. Go to table settings, click on dynamic. Okay, now in the old editor, go to rows. We want to go to dynamic, and we want to go to data source. So we're going to be pulling over from here. So row collection, click copy and paste. Go to column 1. We want to go replace image, and we'll grab the placeholder and copy this. Then on the template, go to content, column 1, going to go to image, add dynamic and paste. Then under next row, go to text, back on the abandoned cart, go to column 2, click on source, copy all of the code, and then under text, you want to go to paste the text exactly the same. Under the image in abandoned cart, you want to grab the link and paste it to the cell contents on the template. Preview the email, and it should look all good. Functionally, the email is now complete. Now it's just a matter of styling. Okay, so now we have our abandoned cart block, and let's save this while we've got it. I'm even going to leave it in green mode because we want the block to be exactly the same in every abandoned cart email. And if we ever edit this block, we want to edit it across all instances. It means that if we make any changes to this, for example, we might decide we want it to have smaller padding, then we can edit it there, or we want to change the text size or something, we want to make it centered, then it will save across all instances of this block. Then we can publish the changes and it will publish across all versions. Preview again and cross our fingers, and yes, okay, it's working, it's pulling in the contents of the cart. Now, one final part is the URL of return to cart is actually going to be a special type of URL as well, because it's going to take the customer to the actual cart that they abandoned. So when we go to preview, we want to have the cart that has the fluoro beanie, and this takes us back to the checkout that we started earlier on. Okay, so now we can save and exit, we can click done, and the great thing now is that if we've done it correctly, we can actually delete the original version. So now we're just left with the actual functioning working email, and then we're good to go. The only other thing I want to change is this one to a 30-minute trigger. This one is named Abandoned Cart 1 Reminder. Okay, so now what I'm going to show you is a split. So let's add a conditional split here, and we want to make it so that when customers place order 0 times over all time, then they'll get this version. So new customers only will get this version. For these new emails, I recommend just cloning the first one that we made and then bringing it down because we know that it's got the cart that works. So this one is going to be Abandoned Cart 2, New Customer Offer, and then we'll clone it as well, and we'll have Abandoned Cart 2.2, Returning Customer Final Reminder. And so this is strategically what it's going to look like. We're going to have customers receive email 1, which is just a cart reminder. Then they're going to, if they're a first-time customer, like they've never bought before, then they're going to get an offer, which will be the same value offer that we have in the welcome series. But if they're a returning customer, we don't necessarily want them to get sort of in the habit of gaming the Abandoned Cart series. And so for them, we're just going to have a final reminder. So we'll go into the email editor, edit the subject line, add the preview line, change the copy to match this new email, and we'll add a code for the offer, and we'll click save and exit. Then we'll also edit the other email for non-first-time customers. Fix the titles and the copy here. And save and exit. Then, as we did before, we need to have a discount offer for the new customers. So what we want to do is we need to create a coupon for that discount. Again, the name of it is going to be Abandoned Cart 10. The prefix will be AC. Percentage off, 10%, minimum purchase of $100. Activation at send time. Expiry after 5 days. With the coupon created, we can go back to email 2 and add it. We'll add some text here to mention that it will expire. paste the code in from the description of this video, and replace the text with abandoned cart 10. Preview the email and make sure the coupon is working. When we're previewing it, we're looking for abandoned cart 10-preview, and it's working, so it's coming through. Click done and exit. So now we have our abandoned cart series running. Now the amazing thing with the flow trigger like this is that you can preview the trigger and it will tell you whether somebody is eligible to enter the flow or not. It's going to look at the recent checkout started information and tell you whether the customer is going to go through the flow. So that means that you can double check to make sure that your rules and filters are all set up to actually function. So you can check to make sure it's working as you intend. Now we're happy with this and we can actually set it live. Okay, now browse abandon flow. The final flow that I want to set up is the browse abandon flow, which is when someone just views a product and they don't actually start a checkout, they still get a reminder. It's super effective at driving sales, often as effective as the abandoned cart series. And similar to the abandoned cart series, we're also going to have to bring in the code from the old version because there's a bit of code for browse abandon. But fortunately, this one's less complicated than the abandoned cart series. Still follow along and make sure that you're grabbing the right code from the right point. So heading to flows in Klaviyo again, going to browse abandonment basic template. Now looking at the browse abandon flow triggers, it's going to be triggered based on viewed product, which as we saw earlier when we were setting up the web tracking, that's all set up correctly now, so that's when someone views a product. It's already got the flow filter set up so that it's got checkout started 0 times. Now the important thing here is that the customer will only receive the browse abandon if they're not getting the abandoned cart. So obviously the abandoned cart is deeper in the funnel, and so it's going to be a more important flow for them to see. The browse abandon flow is strictly going to customers who've looked at a product and not started a checkout. Now, similar to the abandoned cart, we want to change the delay down to 30 minutes. Change the name of the first email to browse abandon 1-reminder. We want to turn off smart sending as we do with some of the other flows. Turn on the UTM tracking, and you especially do want to turn off smart sending because a customer might browse products after they've received a campaign and you don't want them to be prevented from receiving this email. Okay, so now if you remember with the abandoned cart, we had an issue where the content was dynamic and so it wasn't going to be brought into the new editor very well. So we've got the same issue here. This is also dynamic content. So from preview here, you can see this is my test email here, and it's got this content and the special dynamic block here. So we need to do a similar thing that we did with the abandoned cart. Open the new editor in a new tab and set up the new email as a clone of the original. Edit the variation and change the template to the new editor. So now we've got the old one in one tab and the new one in the other tab. So here we've got the block. It's not the same as the abandoned cart code. It's a slightly different code for the browse abandon. And we need to recreate it again. And again, we need to create a table. And again, follow this really carefully step by step just to make sure that it all works correctly. Click on the table block. Click on rows. This time it's static, not dynamic. Click on row 1, column 1, and we want it to be an image. Returning to the Klaviyo template, we want it to be on row 1, column 1 of the table. Change this to an image, and column 2, we want to change this to text. Back in the old editor, we want to click Replace Image. Under Placeholder, we want to click on Placeholder and copy the text exactly. Then under Image in the new editor, click Dynamic Image and paste the text. Copy the event URL from the old editor and paste that as an image link. Under column 2 of the old editor, go to Text, Source, and copy that text exactly. Return to the new editor and paste the text into Source for column 2. That completes the code, but the styling isn't done. Similar to how we did before, set the max width for the image. Under table settings, we're going to choose our styling. Click on the shop button and link the URL from the text link. You also want to save the table as a universal block. Once again, I recommend keeping it green. You don't have to, but I recommend you do. Okay, so once the styling looks nice, click Save and make sure the styling looks good for mobile. And now you can save and exit. Like before, go back to the flow and delete the old editor version with the confidence that the new version is working well. Now, in this case, we're going to do a conditional split. With our first email done, like we did with the abandoned cart, we can clone the email and move it past the conditional split. This one is for new customers only, and like I said before, this won't be sent to customers who have made a cart. I'll speed through the editing of the copy for these emails setting up the coupon again, because we've done it with the abandoned cart. Okay, that's it. Now we have our browse abandoned series going out to customers. Customers will receive the abandoned cart series if they haven't started a checkout. So they'll only receive the abandoned browse series if they haven't abandoned a cart. They'll receive the first email after 30 minutes with the product that they looked at, and then again after 20 hours. If they've never purchased before, they'll also receive a discount offer. So now we're in a position to turn this live as well. That's it. There are so many different flows that you can set up with Klaviyo as well. And there's all kinds of ideas in the gallery here that will populate after you connect to your e-commerce store. There are literally dozens of flows that you could include in your flow journey, and I recommend you check them out for your brand. However, these three flows, being at the top of the funnel in combination with your pop-ups, are going to be the most important flows that you set up. And so for most brands who are small and watching this video, I would recommend that you set up these core flows that you get going right away. Finally, the only other thing to cover now is how to send a campaign, which is much easier than setting up an abandoned cart and a browse abandoned. Okay, so now for the campaign. Under campaigns, and compared to setting up the flows, it's really easy. Under campaigns, click create campaign, click create email, and click create campaign. Now it's going to give you a default name. Now the default name I recommend sticking with, leaving the date set because you want to have a unique name. That's just because when the data flows through to Google Analytics, you need to make sure that it's got a unique name. You don't want to be unsure as to when this email went out. So even if you're, like for example, if you're doing a product launch of new shoes, don't say product launch new shoes because you might use that same name for another campaign. But if you leave the date there, then it leaves it unique. So then you can say, product launch news to shoes, and it'll have the date there. Okay, let's go with product launch. Okay, under send to, you want to choose your email audience. You could choose another list, but I would recommend sending the email audience segment because that will combine all of the lists together, if you remember from the segment section. Skip recently emailed profiles. Now it will estimate the number of profiles and also definitely include tracking parameters all the time. If you want to, you can make it that it will automatically enable UTM tracking every time. So then you don't have to set it up every time. It will automatically be toggled. Continue to content. Okay. Here's where you set up a subject line. Now in this case, we're going to be doing a product launch email. And what you can do, you can use the subject line assistant, which is a really handy AI tool that Klaviyo has. Just makes the process quicker. Unfortunately, it's not available for flows at the time of recording, but it might be in the future. So we want to do a product announcement. It's going to be a product launch. We're going to be launching Eastern Eagle beanies. And the next thing you can do is you can actually copy one of the other lines to use as your preview text. So now we've got a great subject line, great preview text. Go to drag and drop. And we'll now set up our email. We're going to upload our image. Now let's actually use our universal block that we've been holding off on. Then we want to unlink the content because we don't want it to apply everywhere. We'll take the beanie off of the featured products, add the other 3 products. Do the same for the mobile version. Click Save and Exit when the styling is finished. And there we go. Now we have our email that our customers will receive. You'll see we've got a subject line and preview text. We've got the email design. A quick preview of what it looks like. Make sure that it's going to have an unsubscribe link and all the legal requirements. It tells you whether you have enabled tracking, and you can upgrade your account to remove the powered by Klaviyo logo. The next thing you want to do is schedule. And if you schedule, you can send now if you like. It always makes me nervous. I prefer to schedule ahead of time. What I recommend is that you schedule, choose a specific time, and send based on a specific time zone. And then determine recipients at send time. What this will do is it will make sure that your subscribers are recalculated at the time of send rather than locking in the subscribers as they are right now. So for example, if we didn't check this box, then when send time comes around, it's going to send to anyone who's a subscriber right now. Even if new subscribers subscribe in the next, in the time between you scheduling it and when it actually goes out, there'll be people subscribing in the meantime and they won't be included. But if you click on determine recipients at send time, it will make sure that it's going to include those new subscribers as well. So that's why I recommend leaving that there. Now, once you've got a campaign, you can come back and edit it. Once it's scheduled, you just need to pause and edit. If you do this, then just make sure you remember to reschedule, and it will have all of the original information locked in there. Now for SMS, it's just as simple. You can click on SMS Create Campaign, SMS Message Campaign, and you want to choose your list Here you literally just choose your SMS subscribers and that's it. We'll turn off skipped, and you can see here that it's automatically added your UTM tracking because that's something I updated in this account settings earlier. So now we have the content of this message. Then what we do is we need to get the link and we paste that in here as well. Okay, so now this is what customers will receive. Now, a few things for SMS. Firstly, you'll see here that you can choose how you want to preview it. So you can see what it looks like to customers from the United States, from Canada, from the United Kingdom, and from Australia. One thing you'll notice is the from at the top here. So as we mentioned when we set up the account, for the United States and for Canada, it's going to have a phone number. And for the United Kingdom and Australia, it's going to have a name. And the other thing is it's going to have a URL, and the URL will automatically be shortened in the text message. So the link in the message that the customers will receive will be a shortened URL, and then it will also have the unsubscribe link for Australian, Canadian, and United Kingdom customers. The US is the only one that will have the text opt out. So for that reason, what I recommend is you add an extra line or two, just to make sure that when customers are tapping it with their phone, that they don't accidentally click the unsubscribe link when they're trying to click on the actual link. The other aspect for SMS is compliance. You can choose whether you want to have your brand name prefix automatically added into the email itself, or whether you're just happy for it to be in the from section. And finally, you've got the number of messages that it's going to be sending here. So when you hover over it, it will tell you how many SMSs and how many credits it's going to use. And so you can experiment with this on your own, but as you can see here, one message is going to be 4 credits. One message in the UK is 5 credits, one Canadian is 3, and the US is 1 to 1. So this is what it's billed at in your account. Now keep in mind that these credits might change in the future, and so what you see here is not necessarily what's going to be in your account, but also keep in mind the way that these work. For example, if you decide to use an emoji, it will severely impact the number of credits that it uses. So you can see now it's counting as 2 SMSs with 8 credits in Australia. So just be careful about that, about how you want to use your credits. And just as with email, it tells you the account send limits, and it gives you a bit of information about your account credits as well. And similarly to before, you can schedule when the messages are sent. If you've stuck out to the end, thank you so much. And I really hope you've got a lot out of this video. You started with no Klaviyo account, and now you have an account that's connected to your Shopify store, collecting subscribers on your pop-up, on your sign-up forms at the checkout. You're also tracking customers' browsing behavior, and then you've also triggering a welcome series, abandoned cart, browse abandoned series. You know how to set up Klaviyo campaigns using email and SMS, using the new editor. You're really well on the way, and also along the way you figured out how to set up discount codes and have a master template that allows you to send your campaigns to all of your future subscribers. I hope you found this extra long video really valuable, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. Let me know if you've got any comments or questions down below. I read every comment, and up until now I've replied to every comment as well, so I'll try to keep doing so. Thank you so much, and good luck. Bye.